Hello and very welcome everyone to this session of the current affairs. Today we are going to learn the current affairs of 6th of March 2024. So let's start and see that what are the things we can learn from this day and what are the things we can add into our notes. So before we start, these are the topics I got covered for you in this session. So I have got some national news, state news, banking and finance news, defense news, science and technology news, sports news, important days, books and authors, ranks and reports, obituary, awards and recognitions, appointments and resignations. And at last, I'll summarize that what we have learned so far in this session. Before we start, the images used in our slide deck are for educational purpose only. We respect the intellectual property rights of the original creators and owners of these images. If you are the owner of any of the images used in this deck and have any concerns or issues, please contact us at sathi@iitk.ac.in and we shall remove the images. So first news that we have today with us is Minister Hardeep Singh Puri inaugurates 201 CNG stations and GAIL's first small scale LNG unit. So the news that we have today is about the particularly regarding the petroleum and natural gas minister. And who is the minister? Mr. Hardeep Singh Puri. He is a member of Rajya Sabha overseeing petroleum and natural gas as well as housing and urban affairs, dedicated 201 CNG stations and India's inaugural small scale LNG unit, that is liquefied natural gas unit of GAIL, to the nation via video conferencing. The establishment of GAIL Group 201 CNG stations across 52 geographical areas signifies a significant stride towards achieving sustainability goals and environmental responsibility. So do remember that Minister Hardeep Singh Puri inaugurates 201 CNG stations and GAIL's first small-scale LNG unit recently. He is a member of Rajya Sabha and currently holds the Petroleum and Natural Gas Ministry as well as the Housing and Urban Affairs. Government raises minimum age for postal voting to 85 years. So recently, the Indian government, following the consultations with the Election Commission of India, has revised the minimum age criteria for senior citizens to avail the postal ballot voting facility. Decision raises the eligibility age from 80 to 85 years, making a pivotal change in the electoral process aimed at ensuring greater convenience to the nation's elderly population. So basically, the minimum age for the postal ballot collection is 85 years now. As what is the meaning of all these things? So as you know that elderly people, they are not able to go to vote. So basically this particular process of voting through the post service is being given to the people who are above the age of 80. But now the minimum age has been changed and it has been changed from 80 to 85 years. So basically the government has raised the minimum age for postal voting to 85 years. So that is the thing. Election Commission of India comes under Article 324 of the Indian Constitution, and this year was the 18th Lok Sabha elections in our country. India's first underwater metro train service launched in Kolkata by PM Modi. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated India's pioneering underwater metro train service in Kolkata, ushering in a landmark achievement in the nation's infrastructure and urban development. Recently, that particular tram service of Kolkata, that is a very famous service on the roads of Kolkata, is also abolished forever. And it was started by the Britishers and now it has been completely eliminated from the roads to avoid the congestion on the Kolkata roads. But on the other side, we can see that in Kolkata, the landmark achievement was got and India's pioneering underwater metro train service has been started. The service is a significant component of the Kolkata Metro East-West Corridor, designed to enhance connectivity between Howrah and Salt Lake, the twin cities of West Bengal's capital. Ministry of Railways revealed that 10.8 kilometers of the East-West Metro route would be underground and complemented by 5.75 kilometers of elevated sections. So do remember India's first underwater metro train service launched in Kolkata by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi recently. Overview of PM Modi visit to Kerala, Tamil Nadu and Maharashtra. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited Kerala, Tamil Nadu and Maharashtra from 27 to 28th of February. During his visit, the Bikram Sarabhai Space Center in Thiruvananthapuram, Kerala, PM Modi inaugurated the space infrastructure projects. He laid the foundation stone for development projects worth approximately 17,300 crore in Thoothukudi, Tamil Nadu. In Yavatmal, Maharashtra, he inaugurated and dedicated to the nation development projects worth more than 4,900 crore. So basically, when we are talking about the PM Modi's visit to Kerala and Tamil Nadu and Maharashtra, and particularly visiting these places and inaugurated some of the projects like a space project in Kerala, and other than that, some other development projects in Tamil Nadu, and other than that, some development projects in Maharashtra. So, capital of Tamil Nadu is Chennai. CM is M.K. Stalin. And if we talk about the Maharashtra CM is currently Mr. Eknath Shinde and is in association with the BJP government in Maharashtra. PM Modi flagged off Swarna Sindhu, first tanker carrying crude oil from ONGC. So, Prime Minister Narendra Modi flagged off the first tanker Swarna Sindhu carrying crude oil from ONGC KGDWN deep water project. So, it is a particular site or a refinery where a particular crude oil resource from where ONGC is getting the crude oil. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi has flagged off the first kind of tanker, that is Swarna Sindhu, this particular year. The project is located in the Krishna Godavari basin. That means this particular crude oil reserve is found to be in Krishna Godavari basin. That are the two rivers in South India. Godavari is the second largest river or second longest river of our country, and Krishna is the third longest river of our country, and is expected to add 7% to India's oil and gas production. The floating production and storage offloading unit Armada Sterling V has been built and operated by Shapurji Palonji Energy Private Limited. The EPSO has a processing capacity of over 50,000 barrels of oil per day and 3 million standard cubic meters per day of gas. So these are the things. So please remember, recently some new reservoirs of crude oil was discovered in the basins of Godavari and Krishna. And now we can see that PM Modi has flagged off the Swarna Sindhu, first tanker carrying the crude oil from ONGC, a site of the reserves of crude oil that is based on by ONGC. Union Minister Sonwal dedicates first made in India ASTDS tug. So on 2nd of March, Union Minister Sarbanand Sonwal virtually inaugurated 60-ton bollard pull tug named Ocean Grace at Paradeep Port, Odisha. Ocean Grace is the first ever made in India approved standardized tug design and specification tug developed by Cochin Shipyard Limited. The tug was built at the cost of rupees 45 crore and is designed for optimal efficiency and reliability, especially for large vessels like very large crude carriers. The launch aligns with the Green Tug Transition program, aiming to convert at least 50% of all tugs into green tugs by 2030. So do remember, the shipping ministry minister Sarbanand Sonwal has virtually inaugurated the 60-ton bollard pull tug named Ocean Grace at Paradeep Port. Paradeep Port is one of the major port of India and is basically famous for the export of coals in the whole world. And from that particular port, the 60-ton bollard pull tug has been launched, named as Ocean Grace. Southeastern Coalfield Limited, Gewra mine set to become the largest coal mine in Asia. So Southeastern Coalfield Limited, Gewra mine, located in Chhattisgarh, is on the verge of becoming the largest coal mine in Asia. The mine recently received environmental clearance to enhance its production capacity to 70 million tons per annum, up from existing 52.5 million tons. This expansion marks a pivotal movement not only for SECL but also for the nation's energy sector, as India moved to bolster its coal production capability. So basically, recently, remember this point, that Southeastern Coalfield Limited, Gewra Mines, remember the name Gewra Mines, they are located in Chhattisgarh and they are set to become the largest coal mine in Asia. What is the particular per annum production capacity? That is 70 million tons. If we talk about this particular area of Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand, in these areas you will find a particular plateau that is called Chota Nagpur Plateau, famous for the anthracite coal, and is also known as the Ruhr of India. Why Ruhr of India? Because Ruhr Basin is famous in Germany, that is famous for the anthracite coal. IIHR kicks off 3-day horticulture fair in Hisar Ghata, Bengaluru. So, Bengaluru, famously known as the Garden City, is poised to become the epicenter of new development technology advancement in horticulture sector. Means to say, the horticulture means particularly we are working towards in the field of gardening and agriculture. The Indian Institute of Horticulture Research is hosting the 3-day National Horticulture Fair at its Hisar Ghata premises, situated on the outskirts of Bengaluru. The event theme Next Gen Technology led Horticulture for Sustainable Development promises to be a showcase of the nation's most advanced technologies and practice in horticulture. So do remember that IIHR kicks off the 3-day horticulture fair in Hisar Ghata, Bangalore. India's first dolphin research center inaugurated in Patna. So India's first national dolphin research center was officially inaugurated by Bihar Chief Minister Mr. Nitish Kumar. If we talk about the development regarding the dolphins, regarding the Gangetic dolphins, so we also have the Vikramshila Gangetic Dolphin Sanctuary at Bhagalpur in Bihar. This landmark facility, built at the cost of rupees 30 crore, is situated on the banks of Ganga River within the Patna University campus. NDRC primary objective is to aid researchers and students in understanding the behavior and ecology of freshwater dolphins, particularly the endangered Gangetic dolphin. Remember, a nickname also given to the Gangetic dolphin, that is called Susu. Shri Dharmendra Pradhan inaugurates the Management Education Center at NALCO, Angul. So, Union Minister for Education, Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, and who is that one? Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan inaugurated the Center of Management Education, jointly established by IIM Mumbai and IIM Sambalpur. So they are working together with IIMs of Mumbai and Sambalpur regarding the Center of Management Education. Inauguration took place at the NALCO Training Institute in Angul, Odisha. Amidst the presence of Shri Sridhar Patra, CMD, Chairman and Managing Director of NALCO. Center aims to enhance logistics and supply chain activities through digitization and specialized skill development programs. So do remember, Shri Dharmendra Pradhan inaugurates the Management Education Center. Himachal Pradesh announces Indira Gandhi Pyari Behna Sukh Samman Nidhi Yojana. So Himachal Pradesh Chief Minister Sukhvinder Sukhu has announced a groundbreaking initiative aimed at empowering women in the state. Chief Minister Sukhvinder Sukhu unveiled the Indira Gandhi Pyari Behan Sukh Samman Nidhi Yojana, a scheme designed to provide financial support to the women aged between 18 to 60 years. So first of all, two things please remember. Himachal Pradesh CM is Mr. Sukhvinder Singh Sukhu, and he has unveiled the Indira Gandhi Pyari Behan Sukh Samman Nidhi Yojana. Himachal Pradesh is particularly has the government of Congress currently. Apart from that, remember one more thing, that Indira Gandhi Pyari Behan Sukh Samman Nidhi Yojana is related to provide financial support to the woman aged between 18 to 60 years. Under this scheme, eligible women will receive a monthly stipend of 1500, amounting to an annual expenditure of 800 crore. The initiative aims to cover over 5 lakh women, offering them much needed financial assistance. So do remember, Himachal Pradesh announces Indira Gandhi Pyari Behan Sukh Samman Nidhi Yojana. KE Panior inaugurates as 26th district of Arunachal Pradesh. On March 1, Chief Minister Pema Khandu inaugurated KE Panior as the 26th district of Arunachal Pradesh. The new district, carved out of Lower Subansiri, will have its headquarters at Targapin Samsarth. The formation of the new districts was demanded by Nishi community of Arunachal Pradesh. The State Assembly passed the Arunachal Pradesh Reorganization of District Bill, Amendment Bill 2024, paving the way for the creation of KE Panior and an upcoming 27 district BCom. So do remember, KE Panior has inaugurated as the 26th district of Arunachal Pradesh. And recently, same things happened in Nagaland also. The new district was added into the area of Nagaland. India's February services PMI growth eases to 60.6. So India's service sector sustained the growth trajectory supported by positive demand trends. Purchasing Managers Index for India's service sector dropped to 60.6 in February, and January 6 months high to 61.8. Despite the decline, index remained comfortably above the natural neutral mark 50.0, indicating a sharp rate of expansion well above historical averages. New business from abroad continued to rise for the 13th consecutive month, with gains reported from various regions including Australia, Asia, Europe, America, and the UAE. So do remember India's February service PMI, the growth eases to 60.6. After JP Morgan, Bloomberg to include Indian bonds in EM index. So Bloomberg has announced the inclusion of India's fully accessible route bond in its emerging market, local currency government index and related indices. Inclusion will be phased over 10 months starting January 31, 2025. The weight of FAR bonds will increase in increment of 10% of their full market value each month until October 2025, when they will be fully weighted. So do remember JP Morgan, Bloomberg to include Indian bonds in EM index, that is the emerging market current local currency government index. Finance Minister Mrs. Sitharaman inaugurated LIC's International Business Center and receives interim dividend. LIC, the Life Insurance Corporation, has recently increased the stake in Maharashtra Bank and also in the IDFC Bank. And in the virtual ceremony, the Finance and Corporate Affairs Minister Nirmala Sitharaman received an interim dividend check of 2,441.44 crore from LIC Chairman Siddharth Mohanty. The event also marked the inauguration of LIC's new International Business Center at Gift City, Gandhinagar in Gujarat. This strategic move underscores LIC's commitment to offering world-class insurance and financial service at Gift City, aligning with its global expansion strategy. So I hope this point is clear to everyone that Finance Minister inaugurated the LIC's International Business Center and receives the interim dividend. The RBI streamlines net banking with interoperable merchant payments. So, the highest banking authority, Reserve Bank Governor Shaktikant Das, recently announced the forthcoming launch of an interoperable payment system for internet banking. NPCI Bharat Bill Pay Limited has been authorized by the RBI to implement the interoperable net banking payment system. Its anticipated launch is slated for within the current calendar year, as affirmed by the RBI Governor Shaktikant Das. So do remember that the RBI has streamlined the net banking with interoperable merchant payments. 30 Bank joins RBI Udgam portal for unclaimed deposits. So the Udgam portal was started for the particular type of accounts in which do not have any kind of claim from any person, and these accounts are forbidden by everyone. So Reserve Bank of India has announced that 30 banks are now participating in Udgam portal. The portal is designed for individuals to search for their unclaimed deposits and accounts, as I said. Developed by the RBI, the aim is to provide centralized platform for users to access information regarding unclaimed deposits across multiple banks. As of March 2024, 30 banks are already onboarded onto the Udgam portal, covering approximately 90% of unclaimed deposits in value terms. So do remember that Udgam portal recently 30 banks has joined RBI's Udgam portal for the unclaimed deposits and accounts. RBI approves NBBL to launch interoperable payment system. So RBI has approved the NPCI Bharat Bill Pay Limited to launch interoperable payment system for internet banking. So we just discussed about this one. So please remember that they have launched the interoperable payment system. Infibeam Avenues received online payment aggregator license from RBI. So Infibeam Avenue Limited, based in Gandhinagar, Gujarat, has received a final authorization from the Reserve Bank of India to operate an online payment aggregator for its payment gateway brand. Infibeam Avenues received in principle approval from RBI to operate as a PA in 2022. Certificate of authorization for setting up and operating payment system in India is issued by RBI under Section 7 of the Payment and Settlement System Act. This authorization will enable Infibeam Avenues to enhance its payment processing capabilities. So do remember that Infibeam Avenues has received online payment aggregator license from the RBI. Raksha Mantri inaugurates Chola building at the Naval War College, Goa. So Raksha Mantri Mr. Rajnath Singh inaugurated the new administrative and training building at the Naval War College, Goa on 5th of March 2024. The modern edifice, named the Chola, pays homage to the mighty maritime empire of the Chola dynasty of ancient India. The event marked a significant milestone in the history of the NWC, reinforcing its commitment to excellence in military education and nurturing maritime thought. So, Raksha Mantri, that is Mr. Defense Minister, has inaugurated the Chola building at the Naval War College. Why Chola building? Because during the time of the 3rd century BC to 13th century AD, there was a time when this particular dynasty has ruled the areas, especially of Tamil Nadu these days. And if we talk about the particular this area, then they have ruled for more than thousands of years. Okay, and the basic one USP that Chola Empire has is the naval building. So just before, if we talk about the father of naval in India, so navies in India, that is Mr. If we talk about Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, but if we go back into the ancient history, then Cholas were the one who particularly not only maintained the navy, but also they have gained a lot of areas like Indonesia and Sumatra and other islands nearby through their navy. So that is why Chola building was inaugurated at the Naval War College. Remember that. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh launched Aditi scheme to promote defense innovation. So recently, Swawalamban 3.0 was going on, in which some new particular projects or schemes were launched, like Aditi scheme for the innovative works in the category of defense sector. So Defense Minister Rajnath Singh launched the ACing development of innovation technology with IDEX, that is Aditi scheme, to promote innovations in critical and strategic defense technologies. The scheme was launched under the DEF Connect 2024. Aditi falls under the IDEX framework of the Department of Defense Production and will provide startups with grants of up to rupees 25 crore for research and development. The scheme aims to develop approximately 30 deep tech, critical and strategic technologies with a budget allocation of 750 crore. Ministry of Defense inks MOU with BEML and BEL and Midani for development of advanced fueling and control system. So on March 4th, 2024, the Ministry of Defense signed a tripartite memorandum with BEML Limited, Bharat Electronics Limited, and Mishra Dhatu Nigam Limited. The memorandum aims to develop indigenous capabilities to design, test, and manufacture advanced fueling and control system for heavy-duty engines. Collaboration will enhance efficiency, performance, reliability in combat vehicles, aligning with the Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative. Memorandum was signed in New Delhi by the CMDs of BEML, BEL, and Midani in the presence of Defense Secretary Giridhar Aramane. So do remember that Ministry of Defense has inked the MOU with BEML, BEL, and Midani. MOD inks the MOU with BEML, BEL, and Midani for the development of advanced fueling and control system in India. Who is the Minister of Defense? So that is Mr. Rajnath Singh. His constituency is Lucknow. Ministry of Defence signs deal to upgrade Sukhoi M30 MKI fighter aircraft simulator. So Ministry of Defense signed a contract with Indian firm to upgrade the simulators of Sukhoi Su-30 MKI aircraft. This upgrade, led by micro, small, and medium enterprise, will incorporate all indigenous weapons and capabilities. Enhancement will improve operational training for IAF pilots. Sukhoi Su-30 MKI is the multi-role combat fighter aircraft developed by Moscow-based Sukhoi Design Bureau and Hindustan Aeronautics Limited for the IAF. Hindustan Aeronautics Limited was recently inducted as a 14th Maharatna company in India, which is capable of building the indigenous aircrafts and helicopters for the defense agencies in India. Kerala welcomes Iris, its first generative AI teacher. So, Kerala school has introduced the Iris, a humanoid teacher, marking a significant milestone in the realm of educational technology. Developed in collaboration with the Mark Labs EduTech Private Limited, Iris represents a pioneering effort to make learning more interactive, engaging, and accessible. Iris is designed to be more than just a robotic presence in the classroom. It is generative AI entity capable of conducting interactive learning lessons. With the ability to communicate in three languages, Iris can tackle a wide array of questions, making it a versatile and invaluable education tool. So do remember that Kerala has welcomed Iris, the first generative AI teacher. So as AI has enhanced and explored all the areas recently, now it has touched the essence of teaching also. And recently in Kerala schools, the humanoid teacher, that is Iris, was introduced. And soon this kind of things will be started all over the world and all over the places where we can see the iris type of things, or the AI can be replacing the teachers. Okay, but the thing is that if they can teach well, then that would be more helpful to the students. Tata Motor unveils next generation green fuel powered fleet to Tata Steel. So, Tata Motors, India's largest commercial vehicle manufacturer, has recently unveiled the next generation green fuel powered commercial vehicles to Tata Steel. Fleet comprises Prima tractors, Rippers, and Ultra EV bus, which are powered by liquefied natural gas and battery electric technologies. Flag-off ceremony took place during the Tata Group's Founder Day celebration in Jamshedpur, officiated by Mr. N. Chandrasekharan, chairman of Tata Sons. So do remember that Tata Motors unveils the next generation green fuel powered fleet to Tata Steel. India's in-space inaugurates satellite and payload technical center in Ahmedabad. So, Union Minister of State for Tech Science and Technology Jitendra Singh inaugurated pioneering technical center in Ahmedabad, representing significant advancement in India's space sector. Established by the Indian National Space Promotion and Authorization Center, this authority has particularly power to provide authorization and license to the space agencies who are working privately in the field of space. This center aims to revolutionize private sector involvement in space technology development and testing. The goal is to offer a comprehensive set of tools for through validation of space technologies in simulated space environments. So do remember India's in space inaugurates satellite and payload technical center in Ahmedabad. Spain wins the first UEFA Women's Nation League. So Spain's women team secured a historic victory over France, within winning the first ever UEFA Women's Nation League with a convincing 2-0 triumph in Seville. The win represents a significant achievement for Spain in the realm of women's football, further solidifying their position as the dominant force in the sport. So do remember that Spain has won the first ever UEFA Women's Nation League. And also recently, Spain has also won the Euro Cup. That is a very famous football cup in whole Europe, just like Copa America is famous in South America. And apart from it, recently the Prime Minister of Spain was on the visit to India. Asian River Rafting Championship take on the Satluj River. So the scenic town of Shimla has become the center stage for the first ever Asian River Rafting Championship, officially opened on 4th of March by Chief Minister Sukhvinder Singh Sukhu. Championship is taking place on Satluj River. Satluj River rises from the Rakas Lake in the Tibetan region. And particularly if we talk about the Satluj River, it enters through the Himachal Pradesh and particularly it flows through Himachal Pradesh and Punjab, and then it enters into the Pakistan. Satluj River is capable of carrying the Beas River with it, and finally it got merged with Chenab River, and they forms the Panjnad. When after that Panjnad falls into the Indus River. If we talk about the Satluj River, so Satluj River is also a particular river that enters Himachal Pradesh or Indian territory through the Shipkila Pass. So the Satluj River near Basantpur in the Sunni region. Around 20 national and international teams are participating, hailing from the countries like Nepal, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, Iran, Iraq, Kazakhstan, and Indonesia. Former World Cup bronze winner Sai Praneeth announced retirement from badminton. So B Sai Praneeth, a decorated Indian badminton player, has announced a retirement from the sports. Through a heartfelt message on X, formerly Twitter, Praneeth expressed his gratitude towards badminton, signaling the end of an illustrious journey that has seen significant highs and memorable moments. His journey, which began with the bronze medal at the 2010 World Junior Badminton Championship, has been full of significant milestones and achievements. So, do remember that former World Cup bronze winner, that is Mr. Sai Praneeth, has announced retirement from the badminton recently. And he started his journey with the 2010 World Junior Badminton Championship. World Day of Fight Against Sexual Exploitation. So, World Day of Fight Against Sexual Exploitation is observed on 4th of March to raise awareness and promote action against the sexual exploitation. The day aims to protect the vulnerable individuals from sexual exploitation and provide support to the victims of sexual abuse. 4th March has been designated as the World Day of the Fight Against Sexual Exploitation. United Nations defines sexual exploitation as an actual or attempted abuse of vulnerability, differential power, or trust for sexual purposes. So, do remember the World Day of Fight Against Sexual Exploitation is on 4th of March, that is 2024. National Safety Day is on 4th of March. So, National Safety Day is observed on 4th of March. It says significance of safety measures preventing workplace accidents. The day encourages a culture of safety in workplaces and stresses the importance of adherence to safety guidelines. March 4 also marks the commencement of the National Safety Week campaign, observed from 4th to 10th of March. The theme of NSD, that is National Safety Week campaign 2024, is focus on safety leadership for environmental, social, and governance excellence. So do remember the National Safety Day is observed on 4th of March. World Obesity Day. So 4th of March is observed as the World Obesity Day to create awareness about the risk of obesity and promote practical solutions to end the global obesity crisis. The 4th of March marks the observance of the 10th WOD campaign theme of WOD. Let's talk about obesity. The World Obesity Federation established WOD in 2015, initially observed on 11th October, but since 2020 it has been observed on 4th of March. So do remember the World Obesity Day is on 4th of March. Along with the National Safety Day we have, and apart from that, the World Day of Fight Against Sexual Exploitation. A book on Indian modern art, The Gems of Indian Art, launched. So, the book of the Gems of the Indian Art, a comprehensive documentation of Harish Khullar, extensive collection of 20th century Indian modern and contemporary art. This near 300-page book was unveiled by Minister Shri Nitin Gadkari, Shri Arjun Ram Meghwal, and Shri SPS Baghel, marking a pivotal moment in the Indian art scene. Harish Khullar collection showcases the tireless efforts of the Khullar family. Their collection stands as the testament to a deep-rooted passion for Indian art, setting a precedent in the country where private art collections are relatively new phenomena. So do remember the book on Indian modern art, The Gems of Indian Art, launched, and it has shown the comprehensive documentation of Harish Khullar. Status of leopard in India. So number of leopards in India increased by 8% from 2018 to 2022. According to the report, Status of Leopard in India, released by the Union Minister Bhupendra Yadav of Environment, leopard population in India has rose by 8% from 12,852 to 13,874. The fifth cycle of leopard population estimate was carried out by the NTCA, that is National Tiger Conservation Authority, established in 2005 for the conservation of tigers, and started the campaign Save the Tiger. And Wildlife Institute of India. Madhya Pradesh has the highest number of leopards at 3907, followed by Maharashtra 1985 and Karnataka 1879. Report was part of the quadrennial monitoring of tiger for predators, prey, and their habitat exercise in tiger range states. So do remember this one also. Former Canadian Prime Minister Martin Bryan Mulroney passed away. So recently, Martin Bryan Mulroney, the 18th Prime Minister of Canada, passed away at the age of 84. Currently, the Prime Minister of Canada is Justin Trudeau. He played a crucial role in signing of the Canada USA Free Trade Agreement with the former US President Ronald Reagan. The agreement was later superseded by the North America Free Trade Agreement, which also includes Mexico, that is named as NAFTA in 1994. Mulroney was awarded a Canadian highest honor, Companion of the Order of Canada in 1998, and received several other recognitions throughout his career. So do remember the former Canadian PM Martin Bryan Mulroney passed away. Senior Congress leader Aziz Qureshi passed away. He served as the governor of Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, and Mizoram at the age of 83 in Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh. He was the founder member of the first General Secretary of Indian Youth Congress in Bhopal in 1959. Qureshi served as the member of the Madhya Pradesh Legislative Assembly from 1972 to 1977 and the member of parliament from 1984 to 1989. He held the position of governor of Uttarakhand from 2012 to 2015 and Mizoram from 2015 to March 2015. So remember the name Aziz Qureshi, senior Congress leader, passed away in Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh. He was the one who who has become the first General Secretary of Indian Youth Congress in Bhopal in 1959. Tiger Woods honored with USGA prestigious Bob Jones Award. So legendary golfer Tiger Woods has been selected to receive the Bob Jones Award, the highest honor bestowed by United States Golf Association. This prestigious award recognizes Wood's dedication to sportsmanship, his respect to the traditions of the game, and his significant charitable endeavors. The Bob Jones Award will be formally presented to Woods on 12th of June during the week of US Open held at Pinehurst Resorts, famed course number 2 in North Carolina. So do remember Tiger Woods has been honored with USGA's prestigious Bob Jones Award. Hungary Parliament elects the new president, that is Mr. Tamas Sulyuk. So recently some developments we can see, like Claudia Sheinbaum was elected as the first female president of Mexico, and Mohamed Yunus recently has been appointed as the interim prime minister of Bangladesh after the exile of Sheikh Hasina, the re-elected prime minister recently. And apart from them, Kais Saied has been appointed as the president of Tunisia recently for the second term. And if we talk about India, so Prime Minister Narendra Modi appointed for the third time as the Prime Minister of India. And Pakistan also got their new Prime Minister, that was Shehbaz Sharif. So remember his name as well. So now Hungary's parliament recently appointed the new president following the resignation of previous head of the state amidst the scandal involving controversial pardon granting in child sexual abuse case. The appointment of Tamas Sulyuk, a former head of Hungary's constitutional court, sparked debate among opposition parties calling for direct presidential elections. Tamas Sulyuk, a 67-year-old lawyer, assumed the presidency after secret parliamentary vote, receiving 134 votes in favor and 5 against. So do remember the Hungary parliament elects the new president, Tamas Sulyuk. Slice appoints Nayantara as a brand ambassador. So you must remember her from the film called Jawan. And now the Slice, the famous fintech company of India, has appointed Nayantara as the brand ambassadors. The popular mango flavored drink has recently announced the appointment of acclaimed actress Nayantara as its latest brand ambassador. So earlier the brand ambassador, if you know, was Katrina Kaif, and now Slice has appointed her as the brand ambassador. This collaboration aims to strengthen Slice connection with its audience and reaffirm the status as the go-to beverage for mango enthusiasts. Originally introduced by PepsiCo in 1984, Slice was reintroduced in 2008 as the mango-flavored fruit drink under the brand Tropicana Slice. Future Generali Life Indian Life Insurance appoints Alok Rungta as the managing director and CEO. So Alok Rungta as appointed as the MD CEO of Future Generali Indian Life Insurance on 1st of April. He will succeed Bruce D. Broisey, who currently holds the position until March 31st. Alok Rungta, currently serving as the Deputy CEO and CFO, brings over 2 decades of experience in the insurance industry to his new role. So remember the name, Alok Rungta, the new MD CEO of Future Generali India Life Insurance. Rajendra Prasad Goyal took additional charge as the CMD of NHPC Limited. So recently, the Rajendra Prasad Goyal has assumed the additional charge and CMD of NHPC Limited. He has been serving as the Director Finance in NHPC Limited since 2020 and is also the Chief Financial Officer of NHPC. Goyal succeeds Rajiv Kumar Vishnoi, who served as the CMD since March 1. NHPC has been without a regular CMD since the retirement of Abhay Kumar Singh in 2022. So let's revise what we have learned so far. First of all, the Minister Hardeep Singh Puri inaugurates 201 CNG stations and gives first small-scale LNG unit. Government raises minimum age for postal voting to 85 years. India's first underwater metro train service launched in Kolkata by PM Modi. Overview of PM Modi's visit to Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra from 27th to 28th of February. PM Modi flagged off Swarna Sindhu, first tanker carrying crude oil from ONGC. Union Minister Sonwal dedicates first made in India ASTDS tug. Southeastern Coalfield Limited, Gewra Mines in Chhattisgarh, set to become the largest coal mine in Asia. IIHR kicks off 3-day horticulture fair in Hisarghatha, Bengaluru. India's first dolphin research center inaugurated in Patna. Shri Dharmendra Pradhan, the Education Minister, inaugurates the Management Education Center at Nalco, Angul. Himachal Pradesh announces the Indira Gandhi Pyari Behna Sukh Samman Nidhi Yojana. K. Panyor inaugurates 26th district of Arunachal Pradesh. India's February services PMI growth eases to 60.6. After JP Morgan, Bloomberg to include Indian bonds in EM index. Finance Minister Sitharaman inaugurates LIC's International Business Center and receives interim dividend. RBI streamlines net banking with interoperable merchant payments. 30 banks joined RBI's Udgam portal for unclaimed deposits. RBI approves NVBL to launch interoperable payment system. Infibeam Avenues received online payment aggregator license from the RBI. Raksha Mantri inaugurates Tola building at Naval War College, Goa. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh launched Aditi scheme to promote defense innovation. Defense Ministry inks memorandum with BEML, BEL and Midani for the development of advancing fueling and control system. Ministry of Defense signs deals to upgrade Su-30 MKI fighter aircraft. Kerala welcomes Iris, its first generative AI teacher. Tata Motors unveils next generation green fuel powered fleet to Tata Steel. India's InSpace inaugurates satellite and payload technical center in Ahmedabad. Spain wins first UEFA Women's Nations League. Asian river rafting champions take on the Satluj River. Former World Cup bronze winner Sai Praneeth announces retirement from badminton. World Day of Fight Against Sexual Exploitation on 4th of March, National Safety Day 4th of March, Obesity Day 4th of March. Book on Indian modern art, The Gems of Indian Art launched. Status of the leopards in India, the number of leopards in India increased by 8%. Former Canadian Prime Minister Martin Bryan Mulroney passed away. Senior Congress leader Aziz Qureshi passed away. Tiger Woods honored with USGA prestigious Bob Jones Award. Hungary Parliament elects new president Tamás Suljuk. Slice appoints Nayantara as the brand ambassador. Future Generali India Life Insurance appoints Alok Rungta as the MD CEO. Rajendra Prasad Goyal took additional charge as the CMD of NHPC Limited. And that's it in this session, guys. I hope you enjoyed a lot and gained a lot of knowledge in this session. I will meet you once again in next session in which we will talk and discuss that what we need to learn. Till then, bye bye. Take care, everyone, and see you soon.